This is the screencast for Lesson 36 of Stephen's C# 24-hour trainer. This lesson talked about adding filters to simple database programs, so that's what we're going to do for this try it. This is the program left over from the previous lesson. I've only added a couple of user interface elements here. I added a menu strip. There's our filter by state command that we're going to add code to in a minute. I also added a dialog to let the user enter a state. So we'll display this dialog. The user will type the value there and click either OK or cancel. Because this OK button doesn't have to do any validation, I set its dialog result property to OK. So when the user clicks the button sets the form's dialog result property, and that closes the form. So there's no code involved here. Here's the interesting part. What we need to do here is display the dialog, get a state value from the user, and then use it to filter the data. So first, let's create the dialog. And then we're going to display it with show dialog and check the result. So if the dialog.showDialog equals OK, then we're going to take some action. So if the user entered a state and clicked OK, we want to filter. So let's build a string that has the filter in it. It's often easier to compose these things as strings before you plop it right into the objects. So filter is going to be state equals single quote whatever the user entered. So that's going to be the dialog's state text box dot text plus a close quote. It's important to remember that close quote. So there's our filter. Now we just have to apply it. So we'll say contacts binding source dot filter equals our filter string. Now if the user doesn't enter a state in there and clicks cancel, we'll take a different action. What we're going to do is clear the existing filters if there are any. So we'll say contacts binding source dot remove filter, and that'll get rid of any previous filter that we had been using. That's all there is to it. So let's run the program. Sorry again that it's truncated on the right. You can see we've got a bunch of people in here from Indiana, Florida, New Jersey, Illinois, New York, and so forth. So let's go in here and filter out everybody except the people in Indiana. So I'll type I in there and click OK, and there's the filter. Let me go back in here, do filter by state, and click cancel. So now it should call that remove filter, and it got rid of the filter. Let's pick a state that has more than one person. How about Florida? There's 3 people from Florida in there. Filter by state, we'll type FL. All right, so now we got our 3 people from Florida. That's all there is to it. Filtering is a kind of impressive thing. It lets you do something pretty useful, but it's really not very hard. It's really just this one key line of code.